Hi, this is Mr. Seymour, and what we're going to do today is look at why we study history, in particular global history, the history of the world. Here's one reason. The first reason is to help us develop judgment in worldly affairs by understanding the past behavior of people and societies. We can't really understand what's happening today if we don't look back at what's happened in the past. History must serve as our laboratory, and the past must serve as our most vital evidence in the quest to figure out why people behave the way that they do, especially in society today. If people who are making decisions do not consult history, they make decisions without all of the facts. Reason number 2 is to help us understand change and how the community, the nation, and the world we live in have come to pass, how we are here today, and what has happened in the past to influence us. Each person's worldview is shaped by individual experiences, as well as the experiences of the group to which he or she belongs. If we're ignorant of the contemporary and the historical experiences of a variety of cultures, then we can't hope to understand why people, communities, or nations behave the way they do or make the decisions that they make. Now, this is very important today as we look at places like Yemen, Afghanistan, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, but not just the Middle East. Why do Europeans behave the way that they do? Why are Americans the way that we are? What has influenced us in our historical perspective? Reason number 3 is to help us develop essential skills for good citizenship. Citizens are not born capable of ruling. They need to be educated to make fair and wise decisions. And the cornerstone of our democracy is the informed citizen. So we need to be able to understand what's happened in the past as well as understand what's happening today. All of these are going to be based on historical thinking skills. Reason number 4 is to inspire us. History teaches us that a single individual with great convictions or a committed group can change the world. Can you change the world with an understanding of history and an understanding of how we get together to make decisions? You can. It is from numberless acts of courage that human history is shaped. Each time a person stands up for an ideal or acts to improve the life of others or strikes out against injustice, he or she sends forth a tiny ripple of hope, and those ripples build a current that can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance. And that's Robert F. Kennedy. Reason number 5, to help us develop essential thinking skills. Social studies promotes important lifelong skills like reading for information and understanding, which helps us understand the world around us. Critical thinking and logical arguments, which we need to be able to make in order to communicate our thoughts and ideas and to persuade others as to what our thoughts and opinions are. Analytical thinking and problem solving, which we need in order to convert facts and figures and dates and all the other things that come with history and produce real-world arguments and ideas and plans for the future based on the data that we have. Why problem-solving skills? The student who learns history will unconsciously develop what is the highest value of history: judgment in worldly affairs. We gather historical knowledge. This isn't to make us more clever the next time, but wiser for all time. And that is adapted from Jacques Barzon. Famously, George Santayana said, "Those who forget history are condemned to repeat it." And as we look at our study of history, you'll see how true this statement really is. So what kind of thinking skills do we need? First, we need to be able to read and understand both primary and secondary documents. Primary documents are those documents that are written by or at the time of an historical event, by someone who observed the event or partook in the event. A secondary document is one where we look back in history and evaluate the event. We need to be able to make connections between and across periods of time. So we're going to look at not just history in terms of a timeline going forward or backwards, but we're going to look across different points of view and different societies at the same time period to understand the connections. We need to be able to understand the causes and consequences of historical events. And we need to understand how societies have changed or remained the same over time. We need to be able to prepare and communicate historical arguments using evidence and data. And we need to be able to use our knowledge of historical events to interpret present-day society so that we can develop plans for the future prosperity of our present society and preserve our future. And those are why you should be studying world history.